Warriors, Gwen here. You're listening to Empowerment in Illness, where healing is real, progress is personal, and every story moves us one step closer to advocacy, empowerment, and understanding. Thanks for joining me today, because this episode marks a turning point, not just for me, but for all of us walking this path together. We spent seasons talking about surviving illness, how to fight through flare ups, stand up for our rights, and hold on to hope in the harshest moments. But today, I want to talk about what happens when you've made it through the storm and you're standing on new ground. When you've cried your tears, faced your fears, and finally feel that small but powerful whisper inside that says, I'm ready for more. This episode is about growth, not the kind that comes easy, but the kind you've earned through every sleepless night, every doctor visit, every moment you refuse to quit. It's about stepping into your strength, even when your body has limits, and realizing your life still holds endless possibilities. You are not the same person you were when your journey began. You've evolved, you've adapted, you've risen, and so has empowerment in illness. We are no longer just talking about surviving, we're talking about living, creating, and becoming. Our vision is expanding. We're here to remind every warrior that your diagnosis is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a new chapter filled with resilience, purpose, and elevation. Today, we are reaching higher, standing taller, and proving that strength doesn't come from what you can do. It comes from what you overcome. There comes a point in every warrior's journey when survival starts to feel familiar. You've learned your patterns, you know your triggers, and you've built your routines around managing this body that doesn't always cooperate. You're still fighting, but you're also tired of fighting. And somewhere, deep inside, there's this quiet voice that says, is this all I'm meant to do? Survive? That's where the shift begins. You start to realize that the life you deserve doesn't stop at stability. It doesn't end with making it through the day. You begin to crave something deeper, something more fulfilling than just getting by. That hunger for meaning is the beginning of your rise. For many of us, illness stripped away the distractions, the constant movement, the overworking, the pretending everything was fine. What's left after that kind of unraveling is raw truth. You start to see what really matters: peace, connection, creativity, purpose. That's where ascension begins, not by escaping your illness, but by learning to live with it while still daring to dream. When I think about this phase, I picture a mountain. In the beginning, it looks impossible to climb, but with every appointment you face, every flare you survive, every boundary you set, you take another step forward. You might not even notice it happening, but one day you look back and you realize how high you've come. And here's the truth. Reaching new heights doesn't always mean doing something grand. Sometimes it means getting out of bed when your pain says stay down. Sometimes it's saying no to guilt and yes to rest. Sometimes it's choosing to believe that your life still has meaning, even when the world doesn't understand what you carry. This is the shift from survival to ascension. It's the quiet transformation that happens when you decide to stop apologizing for being sick and start living as someone who is still here, still growing, and still capable of greatness. Marinate on that. When you live with a chronic illness, it's easy to feel like your power has been taken from you. The doctors, the tests, the fatigue, the endless appointments. Sometimes it feels like life is happening to you instead of with you. You start to shrink your world to fit what your body can handle. You begin to question your worth, your place, and your purpose. Here's what I've learned. Illness may change your direction, but it does not erase your purpose. This is the season where we start to reclaim it. You remember that even though your body may move slower, your dreams can still move forward. You begin to rewrite what success looks like for you. It's no longer about the pace of your progress, but the intention behind every step you take. Power isn't about control, it's about awareness. about knowing who you are, what you can do, and what you will no longer accept. And that's where the transformation begins. For some, it's starting a business from bed. For others, it's finally setting boundaries that protect your peace. It could be writing your story, volunteering, mentoring, or simply learning to rest without guilt. Purpose doesn't always show up in big, world changing moments. Sometimes it's in the quiet decisions to keep showing up, even when no one sees you fighting. Empowerment in illness was born from that truth. I built this platform because I wanted every warrior to know their purpose can be rebuilt. You can take what tried to break you and use it as your foundation. The days that humbled you also prepared you. The battles that wore you down also strengthened your resolve. You are not powerless. You're in the process of rediscovering your power. And this time, it's rooted in wisdom, not fear. So take a breath. Think about one area of your life where you've given your power away to guilt, to self-doubt, or to the idea that your illness defines you. Now imagine taking it back, little by little, because you can, because it's yours. There comes a time when we stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? That's the moment when you begin living beyond your limit. It doesn't mean pretending your illness isn't real or ignoring what your body needs. It means finding a way to live fully within the boundaries you have and still create a life that feels meaningful. For so many of us, the limit feels unfair. You watch others doing things you used to do, working long hours, traveling freely, making plans without wondering if they'll have the energy to keep them. And it hurts. You miss that version of yourself who could go all day without needing a break, who didn't have to calculate pain levels or medication schedules just to get through the afternoon. But here's the shift. Those limits you learned to live with aren't your prison. They're your teachers. They teach you what deserves your energy, what brings you peace, and what you can release. Living beyond your limits means working with your body, not against it. It's understanding that rest is strategy, not weakness. That's saying no to something that drains you is saying yes to something that sustains you. When you start seeing your life that way, you realize that rising higher doesn't mean doing more. It means living intentionally. It means pouring energy into what matters most, your healing, your peace, your joy. The world often equates success with productivity, but for us, success is presence. It's being able to say, I showed up for myself today. Think about that. Showing up for yourself may not always look impressive from the outside, but it's revolutionary on the inside. You're learning to listen to your body's cues, to honor your needs, to protect your mental health, and to give yourself grace. That's the real climb. Living beyond your limit is where you stop comparing your path to others and start appreciating your own pace. It's where you stop trying to prove your worth and start embodying it. It's where you stop waiting for perfect health to start living. Because the truth is, life isn't waiting for you to feel better. It's waiting for you to believe you can live better right where you are. Here's something every warrior learns sooner or later. Healing doesn't move in a straight line. It's not a climb that just goes up and up. Some days you're scaling the mountain, and other days you're sliding back down, wondering if you've lost all the progress you made. Let's be honest. Every time you rise again, you're stronger than before. There will be days when your body says no, even when your heart wants to say yes. You'll have moments when the fatigue feels unbearable, when your mind tells you it's easier to give up, when you start to wonder if all this effort is worth it. That's when you have to remind yourself that rest is not failure, stillness is not defeat. Those pauses are part of the climb too. When you're living with a chronic illness, progress can look invisible. People on the outside may not notice the small wins, but you know. You know what it takes to get through a day when your pain level is high. You know the strength it takes to show up for your kids, to answer that email, to cook that meal, to keep going when everything in you wants to stop. That's not weakness, that's warrior strength. And that's what empowerment in illness is all about. Redefining what strength looks like. It's not only about the wins people can see, it's about the quiet moments that no one notices, the tears you wipe away before a meeting, the smiles you give when everything hurts, the courage it takes to show up even when no one's watching. The climb isn't linear, but every step still counts. Every effort adds up. Every time you choose to keep trying, you rise a little higher. Some days you'll sprint, some days you'll crawl. Both are progress, both are victory, both are proof that you are still in the fight. No one climbs alone. Every warrior who has ever faced a diagnosis knows what it feels like to carry that invisible weight, the kind that others can't always see or understand. But what keeps us standing, what keeps us rising, is community. October is a reminder of that. For some, this month means pink ribbons, breast cancer awareness, and hope for a cure. For others, it's the start of the October slide, when pain and fatigue seems heavier and the body feels like it's moving slower. But no matter what your battle looks like, your colors might be different, yet our fight is the same. We are all warriors navigating our storms, holding on to faith, and refusing to let illness silence our strength. When I think about community, I think about the women and men who keep showing up for one another, the ones who send a message saying, "You're not alone," the ones who drop off soup, share advice, or simply sit with you in silence because they understand what words can't fix. That's what rising together looks like. Not competition, not comparison, but compassion. Breast cancer warriors have taught the world what hope looks like when it wears scars. Their fight has become a global symbol of resilience, and we honor that. We honor every warrior who wakes up, faces pain, and still chooses to live. Whether your ribbon is pink, purple, or any other color, you're part of something bigger, a movement of people who refuse to be defined by diagnosis and instead choose to be known by courage. With the October slide creeping in, this is the time to hold on to your community. Lean into your support system. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your strength when you forget it. This season might test you, but it will not break you. You have a tribe standing beside you, lifting you when you can't lift yourself. So let this month remind you that you are part of a legacy of warriors who fight, rise, and shine in their own ways. Our paths are different, but our heart beats the same rhythm, one of resilience, unity, and unstoppable hope. This episode of Empowerment in Illness is sponsored by our own community, the Empowerment in Illness Store. Everything we created is designed with one mission in mind: to support you through every part of your chronic illness journey with comfort, encouragement, and purpose. From cozy Flare Days essentials that help you manage the tough days, to the paper trail medical binder that keeps your health records organized. Each product was made to remind you that your journey matters. And if you're navigating disability paperwork or preparing to apply for assistance, don't miss our ebook Through the Fall, our chronic illness guide to completing the SSI paperwork, a step-by-step guide to help you move through the process with clarity and confidence. You can explore all of these and more in our Empowerment in Illness store. Just click the link in the bio to get started. Every purchase supports our mission to empower, educate, and uplift warriors everywhere. Be prepared. Don't panic. Before we leave, I would like to close with a special portion of the show I call Healing Heartbeat. This is where we allow ourselves to wallow in sorrow. Give yourself 3 minutes to laugh, cry, scream, cuss, or just sit in silence. Whatever you need to do to feel it, do it. Let the depression in for only 3 minutes. Once you've reached 3 minutes, compartmentalize it and get back to living. This is a rinse and repeat behavior. You cannot let depression take over because when it does, it will not let go. When we hear about the passing of someone, we have the day they were born and the day they pass away. There is a dash in the middle. It's not a long line, but a short dash. That dash represents your life. Go live in spite of having a chronic illness. Don't let your condition stop you. As we close today's episode, I want you to take a moment to acknowledge how far you've come. Every flare, every setback, every silent victory has shaped the warrior you are today. You've carried pain that most people will never see and found a way to keep moving forward anyway. That is strength. That is power. We've talked today about rising higher, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. Rising isn't about leaving your illness behind. It's about growing beyond what it tried to limit in you. It's finding peace in the pauses and purpose in the pain. You are not defined by your condition. You are defined by your courage to keep rising, even when it hurts. And as you move through this next week, I want you to hold on to this truth. The climb may not be easy, but it is worth it. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to becoming who you're meant to be. And when you feel tired or defeated, look around. You are part of a community of warriors who are climbing with you, cheering you on and believing in your rise. You've survived. You've learned. You've adapted. And now it's time to soar. At Empowerment in Illness, we believe in advocacy through action, empowerment through knowledge, and inclusion through understanding. Together, we rise stronger, one story, one step, one victory at a time. Remember, you have the strength, the heart, and the support to continue your journey. Be safe.